Welcome to another edition of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we run down all the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past week. It was another big loaded week in the industry, the sports nutrition industry, functional, beverage, everything kind of connected through to that fitness world. And we had a lot of news to share. We were posting every day as per usual. I think it's pretty slammed in terms of frequency of new releases. We usually aim to have anywhere from 10 to 15 stories a day. It was definitely on the higher side every day last week, but we made sure we got it out. And obviously the Clash of the Cans, our energy drink showdown, that took place throughout last week. It was C4 Energy looking to become two-time champion after winning our first ever contest versus Rise Fuel, which I did make sure I looked it up. Not only is it a newcomer, but if Rise Fuel ends up winning, it will indeed be the youngest energy drink to win the contest. Rise, obviously, this is one of the things that you get with these competitions, is that Rise obviously has a lot more on offer than just its energy drink. It's been on the market for several years in terms of with sports nutrition supplements, and has built quite a fan base and quite a consumer base with those. So it's no surprise that it made it this far. And obviously it's got the full support of its supplement fan base and the many people that have come across it due to the energy drink, which has expanded and exploded pretty much since hitting the market. So yeah, those two battled it out. We are currently combing through all of the votes just to give you an idea, and this is just a total of the entire Clash of the Cans contest. We pretty much hit right around 100,000 votes. Just to give you an idea, that's in total of the whole contest, and obviously that's not specifically what we got in the grand final, but that's just how many votes we took in throughout the entirety of the Clash of the Cans. Obviously proudly presented by Dynamine this year, our title sponsor, and yeah, we're going to be coming through them all, double checking, making sure nothing's off, nothing's wrong, and then just giving you the result. That's pretty much how we roll. That's how we do it. The announcement, usually, if there aren't a lot of votes, but if there are fewer than we got, we would probably be announcing Wednesday. But by the looks of things, it's going to take us a little bit extra, so we won't likely announce the winner until Wednesday of next week. But we have a lot of excitement in between then. So currently we are 5 weeks out from the Stack Supplement Expo, and it's right about now that we start shouting out the exhibitors. So this year we have right around our limit for the Stack Supplement Expo, which is our online experience where we try to pretty much bring everything from a regular expo to the online platform in a very convenient, very quick, very fun format. If you haven't been to the Stacked Expo before, basically when it goes live, it's a website that goes live for 7 days, Monday to Sunday. This year is going down on July 17th through to the 23rd. And yeah, it's going to be packed full of sports nutrition brands, companies introducing new products, making some exclusive announcements, revealing, releasing, teasing, deals, discounts, giveaways. Pretty much everything we can, like I said, from a physical expo to this one, including our big announcement, which you are going to want to check out. I don't like to use the word industry first often, but it is very much in that world, and I think it is very much industry first, so it'll be a pretty cool little thing to catch, and just basically head right to our page as soon as it goes live, because you won't want to miss it. But again, amongst all of that will be the many other sports nutrition brands exhibiting and announcing and displaying what they've put together. Every brand basically gets to choose what goes into their sections, so the pages that each brand has put together has been entirely by themselves. They've put they've got to basically piece together everything from the products to the teasers and all that. And so that'll be going live on July 17th over at stackedexpo.com. We'll have it all on our site, and we'll be announcing the exhibitors that'll be participating this year over the next few weeks. Usually we do it a month out, so it's a nice easy build up. This isn't a physical expo, so it's not requiring anybody to make plans or accommodation or flights and stuff like that. So yeah, just bookmark that date, And just know that you need to visit stackedexpo.com during that week to catch it all. But of course, we're going to be blasting it all over our site anyway, so if you visit stack.com, it'll be impossible to miss it. And we encourage, as I said, every episode, make sure you visit Stacked Expo once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 20 times a day, so you don't miss a beat. But yeah, we're going to get into the main core of the Stack Supplement podcast right now, and that is the roundup of the news. And last week, as I said, was not short on hype and excitement, and we're going to kick things off with a bit of fun from the team at Ghost. So Ghost is pretty much the one who kind of brought authentic flavor collaborations to the forefront. They, back when they did Warheads, it was pretty much like a domino effect. Since then, we just saw more and more flavor collaborations from Ghost itself, as well as many, many other sports nutrition brands. I mean, nowadays it's much more, not even much more, it's significantly common for a brand to team up with somebody outside of the industry, whether it be a food, a flavor, or something like that, and put together a taste for a supplement that fans are familiar with. Obviously Rise has done it a lot. They did Kool-Aid, and then you've got, and they even just did Country Time Lemonade more recently. And C4 did Starburst and Skittles. Sunny D was also Rise, and then we just saw Beam do it as well. Oh God, Diamond did the Fruity Pebbles, Six Star just did the Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops. Realistically, the list does go on, but you catch my drift. But yeah, so one of the big ones, or one of the popular ones Ghost did was teamed up with Nutter Butter. The classic cookie teamed up with Nutter Butter for a authentic Nutter Butter flavor of its Ghost Whey, fully transparent Ghost Whey protein powder. And that was quite a while ago, not all that long ago, but it was a while ago. They've done plenty of others since then. But much as we've seen with other brands who do collaborations and they sort of expand on their partnerships, Ghost has expanded on its partnership. So it's teamed up with Nutter Butter once again to create a second Nutter Butter authentic flavor for its Ghost Whey protein powder in chocolate Nutter Butter. I haven't tried it yet, obviously, but was just announced. But my guess is that if you liked Nutter Butter, or even if you're just familiar with it, it sounds like you're just pretty much getting that with a hint of chocolate. I guess, again, aiming to be familiar, very similar to the authentic, to the actual Nutter Butter itself and the chocolate twist. And yeah, so that'll be launching shortly. I think it actually might be available today or this week. I'm not sure. I know on the site, yes, it's on the site a week. Oh, I actually think it is available today, sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure last week on Monday they announced it, and then exactly 1 week later it would be out there. But yeah, it should be out today, or if not, then tomorrow. But yeah, we record this on the Monday, share on Tuesday, and yeah, full details on the site. But of course, you need to go Lifestyle and pick it up now. From there, we shoot over to the team at Gorilla Mind. Now, Gorilla Mind, as I've mentioned a few times already this year, those guys have been damn impressive in terms of what they've been able to do and the range they've been able to display. I mean, they just have been punching and kicking and fighting since the start of the year, basically. We've seen reformulation after reformulation. We've seen new flavors. We've seen collaborations with athletes. But it's realistically been the new products that we've seen it introduced that have really, really made a splash. So it did a high-stem pre-workout, which is an absolute beast if you've yet to try it. And that's the formula that they've put in their collaborations with, what's his name, James English, and then the other one that they just dropped, I can't remember the name of the flavor. But yeah, they've been doing, the other big one was the energy drink. Absolutely huge launch, and they just dropped a protein snack. Now, if you remember before the energy drink even came out, there were two bold statements made. Firstly, they said it was going to be the most efficacious energy drink to come to market, which is a huge, huge announcement, a bold statement to make. And looking at it on paper, they did not disappoint. They packed the shit out of that thing. Dosages, ingredients that you just won't find in any other carbonated beverage out there. It's just, so they didn't miss a beat on that. Another thing that they said was that following the launch, over the next 12 months, they are going to release a new flavor every month. Now, we've seen a few brands, supplement companies make that claim or attempt that feat. Black Market was one of them. They haven't done it as much lately, but there were several years where they were doing it, where they would be launching a new flavor every month. Alpha Line, another one that's been doing it incredibly consistently for the last little bit. But most interestingly, Gorilla Mind's obviously doing it for its energy drink. Now that is not an easy thing to do, like by any stretch of the imagination. It's flavoring it pre-workouts isn't easy, but the production behind it and the manufacturing is it's drastically different from a carbonated beverage. Minimums are drastically different. Timing, it's a whole different ball game. But Gorilla Mind said it would be doing it, and lo and behold, was 3 weeks after the launch of Gorilla Mind Energy, we got that first of 12 promised flavor extensions in strawberry candy. I think it was strawberry candy. And we double checked. We reached out to Gorilla Mind just to make sure, like, hey, is this still something that's happening? Because it's been 4 weeks, or roughly 4 weeks, since strawberry candy. Not only did they confirm that yes, that is still very much the plan, they've been doing really well with it, that they then again went ahead and announced the next flavor. So second of 12 planned monthly flavors is none other than Tiger's Blood, the classic strawberry, watermelon, and coconut recipe, which was actually, if I'm not mistaken, also attempted and delivered incredibly well by Rise. I'm pretty sure they do the Tiger's Blood. But yeah, that's going to be the second flavor extension. And to be honest, if you actually head to the website, they actually have all of those original 4 flavors are all sold out, including strawberry candy. So they're very clearly doing incredibly well. And I'm guessing that's not hindering their plans to continue to relaunch and follow through on that promise of a new flavor every month. I'm just double checking on the Tiger's Blood, because I swear to God that was my favorite flavor, or one of my favorite flavors that they did, and the initial rollout of Rise Fuel. I swear I can't remember. I'm going to say that it was. I'm pretty sure it was on the menu. But yeah, they Gorilla Mind. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, just had to confirm, just to double check. Tiger's Blood was one of the first flavors Rise did, and it is one of my favorites. It's they do absolutely ridiculously well with that thing. So yeah, Gorilla Mind is adding Tiger's Blood, second of 12. So what's that? That's 4 flavors they launched with. Then we go to the 5th in strawberry candy. Now the 6th in Tiger's Blood, and it's launching. I think we announced it on Wednesday. I think it's launching. Either way, it's launching this week, or sometime this week. Either way, it's launching soon. But yeah, check the site for more details. Again, I'm just reading this off notes. But check the site for more details, and they'll be rattling off. It'll have on there when it's going to be available, and it will be through Gorilla Mind's website. And another note that I've seen a few comments and people reaching out directly. So obviously the best way to get your hands on an energy drink is obviously at a convenience store. It's the whole thing. It's a grab and go thing. Like if you need energy on the move, energy drink, pick it up when you're out and about. That, from what I know, is coming, or at least planned, for Gorilla Mind Energy. I remember seeing some sort of mention that they were looking to expand into retailers, but obviously right out of the gate, and being a direct-to-consumer brand, that's not something that they were, I guess, entirely set up or ready or knowledgeable of. I don't know, but I know it's in the works and it's something they're planning to do. But for now, direct-to-consumer through their website is the best way to get your hands on it. And they're obviously not doing very bad. They sold out of all 4 original flavors, sold out of strawberry, and they're all still sold out on the site. So can't go wrong there. From there, we're going to shoot over to, we're going to touch on actually the interbrand collaboration trend. Now, I explained what an authentic collaboration was a little bit earlier with Ghost teaming up with Nutter Butter again. So an interbrand collaboration, which we've seen a small amount of, but it's picking up speed. And so an interbrand collaboration is where an authentic collab is where you get together with something you already know outside of the industry, such as Ghost and Warheads. Ghost being the supplement company, Warheads being a candy, a familiar flavor we all know and we all most have experience with. C4 again being the energy drink or supplement company, and then you have Skittles being the familiar food. Now an interbrand collaboration is where you've got 2 brands that have come together within the category. I just call it inter-brand collab. That might not be the proper term. That's just what I call it. Basically, we're two competing brands from within the sports nutrition realm come together and make a supplement. We literally just saw Pollen and Panda do it. Ghost and Raw Nutrition, obviously one of the bigger ones that we've seen. But throughout this whole situation, like throughout this whole, I guess, trend or concept, so Black Market was the first to do it. Black Market did it with Inspired. Then they did it with American Metabolics. I think there was two others off the top of my head. And they also just did one with Panda. Then Ghost did one with Raw. So up until this year, it was only realistically Black Market that was pushing them, and with the partners that had done with. And then you had Raw and Ghost. Now we've just seen Panda branch out on its own and do one with the Pollen. Now we're seeing another person get into the mix. So eFlow Nutrition, famously known for its pre-workout Enrage, specifically Enrage Black. They've announced a collaboration. They're teaming up with Relentless Labz, which was not a company I was familiar with. I didn't know them until this post. I saw that they were doing a collab, checked out the other side, another sports nutrition company. So those two are coming together to create what I'm guessing is going to be a pre-workout. Now the only reason I say that is because so far, all of the collaborations we've seen, that goes for Black Markets and Inspired, Black Markets, American Bollocks, Black Markets and Pandas and Apollons, Ghosts and Raws, they've all been pre-workouts. That's realistically just been what they've done. In the early stages of Black Markets, when they actually teamed up for a combination of their own pre-workouts. So Inspired's famous pre-workout is Devastate. Black Markets, one of Black Market's many more known pre-workouts is Stim. So they created a product called Devastate Stim. Raw Nutrition and Ghost did pretty much the same. They created Savage Legend, which was a combination of Raw Nutrition's Savage from the Sebum series and Legend from obviously Ghost. Now, I don't know entirely what eFlow is planning or what they're doing overall, just that they're coming together to create a supplement, and if I had to guess, and usually I'm a pretty good guess, that is what they're doing at my best estimate. But yeah, so we'll have more details on that shortly. I'm guessing they're teasing it and revealing, then releasing, but we'll have that reveal and full details on the launch basically as soon as it becomes available. So as I say, lock into the website, stay tuned, keep an eye on it, don't miss it. That's where everything goes up. And yeah, helps us out by bringing attention to the site. And if you can share, that'd be good too. Staying within the pre-workout realm, the next story we have comes from Rule 1 Proteins. Heavily known for its many different protein powders, but it does have several other supplements available covering categories from weight loss, amino, pre-workout, and so on. So last week it dropped a teaser, and it said, I'm trying to remember what it said, and much to what I was just talking about, we usually have pretty good guesses. So they put out a teaser saying that it was going to be, they come out with a supplement for a category they already compete in, and it's going to be for a more, I think it was like something like a more well-rounded, something for everyone basically. And I was like, well, this sounds like a cost-effective pre-workout. I mean, straight away, that's one of the, not a huge trend right now, but it is very much something that we've seen many brands do as of late. While you've got the premium pre-workout where companies put together something more advanced and complex as an alternative to their main pre-workout offering, the trend of cost-effective, value-focused pre-workouts has definitely picked up steam. We saw Pre-Cage Sport. One of the early ones obviously was C4 Sport. It's basically a more cost-effective variant. Raw Nutrition was another one they did. Was it Essential Pre-Workout, I think it was named? Basically for those who don't want to spend as much as the mainstream or even the premium pre-workout from a brand, they give you something more cost-effective. So Rule 1 came out with Raw. Raw as in R-O-A-R, sorry, Raw like a lion, not Raw Nutrition. And yeah, it was spot on exactly what we suspected. It is a cost-effective pre-workout. Now, if you're someone who's sitting there thinking, well, this formula doesn't look great, or whatever your approach may be, I wholeheartedly understand what you're saying. If there's a brand out there that only has one pre-workout and this is their pre-workout, then yeah, like I get it. But this is their Rule One's alternative. So they do have pre-lift. So understand this. This isn't like their mainstream pre-workout that they're pushing. They're basically catering to a more cost-effective, cost-conscious audience. So if you're someone who's like, I want full dosages and I want to spend more money, they can do that. That tends to be the case. So while the dosages in this aren't on par with the likes of pre-lift, that's because it's designed for a more budget-friendly audience. And so yeah, Raw pretty much does a pretty damn good job considering the price point that they launched this thing at. So it's $24.99 regularly on their site, but they introduced it with 20% off, to dropping it to $19.99. So that gives you a pretty good idea as to how fierce and competitive they are on price. Even more importantly, they launched a deal alongside that 20% off where if you spent over $49, you got a tub of Raw for free, which meant that if you bought 3 tubs at $60 and got that 20% off, you would get 4 tubs for $60, bringing it to $15 each. So it's a crazy good deal. And again, this is very much a cost-effective pre-workout. They've trimmed the formula down and simplified it essentially for those who don't want to spend as much money as the cost of their pre-lift, which has really good dosages and caters to their more advanced audience. But yeah, just to give you a rundown, you get, so on 1 scoop, and there's 30 of these per tub, you get 2 grams of citrulline, 1.2 of carnosine beta-alanine, a gram of creatine monohydrate, a gram of taurine, half a gram of arginine, an electrolyte blend, 175 of caffeine, 120 milligrams of tyrosine, and 100 milligrams of betaine. Now the interesting point there is that the caffeine is at 175, which if you're like me and you're used to those supplements closer to 300, 400 milligram realm of caffeine, you can 2-scoop this without any worries by the looks of things. That would bring you to 4 grams of citrulline, 2.4 of carnosine, 2 grams creatine, and 350 caffeine. So like, they've given you room. And to be honest, even though this is for that more cost-conscious market, a lot of these pre-workouts in this realm do leave room for that. And while that, like, I don't know if that's entirely the case or the goal here, but when you see the caffeine in that area, like usually halved, I've always taken that as like a note that you can go for 2 scoops or double serving if you so choose. And like I said, this definitely has there's no ingredient that's maxed out at 1 scoop, even again compared to Rule One's own pre-lift. So there's plenty of room to throw down 2 if you like, but you can also be happy with 1 and get your 30 servings out of a tub. And as I said, this is more of your cost-conscious, value-focused market. And yeah, it's on their site now. I believe the deal's over. I'm pretty sure the deal's over. It was 20% off, introductory discount, and then again you've got the free tub if you spend over $49, which was a damn good deal, dropping it to 15 a piece. The next story we go to, so if I'm going to squeeze this in, but I'm going to try to. So we've got 2 more topics or 2 more areas to cover. The second to last one we got comes from Finaflex. So Finaflex, we did a preview of a pre-workout called Engage. Now we didn't really know too much about what to expect from it, but we had a sneak peek, put it up, gave you an idea that this pre-workout called Engage is coming soon from Finaflex. This past week, that supplement launched, and I tell you what, so it is a premium pre-workout. And I mentioned this before with premium pre-workouts, they're really fun because you get to see what a brand can do, or even the direction it really wants to go. And when you're selling a pre-workout at 30, 35, 40, sometimes that vision is not realized. Sometimes it's hard to communicate. And sometimes when you put the core ingredients that you need in a pre-workout to, I guess, make it competitive and relevant, you aren't left with much room for anything else. Premium pre-workouts give you a lot more space because you can put everything in there to make it fit in with a category or make it competitive and be able to be compared to other supplements like beta-alanine, citrulline, and stuff like that. But then a premium pre-workout opens up the budget so that a brand can put in basically a shitload more and really, really stretch this thing out and show you what it's trying to achieve. And so Engage has turned out to be Finaflex's premium pre-workout, but I tell you what, I didn't expect this. I did not expect this formula. So basically, it has 5 key ingredients. And this is where things get interesting. So you've got citrulline malate for pumps, beta-alanine for performance, alpha-GPC for focus, caffeine for energy, and then creatine monohydrate, the daily muscle-building ingredient, known for its ability to support performance and power. Now, that sounds like a straightforward combination. And typically, if you were talking premium pre-workouts, you think there might be a little more. However, Finaflex packed the shit out of these things, and I don't mean that lightly. So you got 8 grams of citrulline malate. That's a 2 to 1 citrulline to malic acid ratio, 3.2 beta-alanine, 360 caffeine, and now here's where shit gets interesting. That creatine monohydrate is at 10.5 grams a serving, which is far beyond the usual 5 grams that you get a serving in a standalone creatine supplement, even let alone a pre-workout. And then the alpha GPC is at 1.2. Now, I have seen 800 milligrams and I have seen 1,000 milligrams, and I think I might have seen the 1.2 grams, but I'm pretty damn sure I've never seen anything over that. So this is a pretty huge feature, and I can see what they were trying to do here. Like, it's a premium pre-workout with a very simple, like not simple, but short set of ingredients, but they've given it the premium tag by just packing the hell out of the dosages, and it's really made it quite different. Again, if you had told me what they were going to do, or you made me guess, I would not have expected this. And then just the amount of some of these things, I don't know. I didn't see this coming. I like it very much. Like I said, with premium pre-workouts, you get to see brands, I guess, goals and concepts and ideas very differently. They're able to extend them out when you increase the price point, and that's really what you've got. They've really bought a pretty interesting formula. I can tell you right now, I've seen a lot of premium pre-workouts, but I don't think any of them have overloaded the alpha GPC and creatine and the citrulline, and then kept the good tried and true 3.2 of beta-alanine plus a 360 caffeine. So yeah, it's out now on the site. Again, this is a premium pre-workout or premium alternative. So obviously, if again, much like the argument that I was talking about with, not argument, but the other side of the coin to, what's his name's, Rule 1's more simpler, cost-effective pre-workout. This goes the other direction. If you're sitting there saying, I'm not going to spend this much money on a pre-workout, this is an alternative. Finaflex does have Stimulate, which is its stimulant-powered, more mainstream, longer-running pre-workout. I believe that sits at like $35-40 for 30 servings, whereas Engage, which is the new one from Finaflex, that's 20 maximum servings for $50. So it's a big leap, but again, it's more of that, again, premium alternative. That's what I consider a premium pre-workout. If you only have one pre-workout at $50, then I wouldn't consider it a premium pre-workout. That is just your pre-workout. If you have one at 50 and one at 80, then yeah, there you go. 80 is your premium alternative. And that's what I've always classified premium pre-workouts as, just like that more advanced alternative, not the sole pre-workout you have to choose from, but something that's a step up for your fans or fans of brands that they can grow to or elevate to or graduate to. The last story we have, and this will be a big one. This is kind of what I'd call a mouthful. So Beyond Raw, the GNC exclusive brand, they were busy last week, very busy. So they launched 2, what they've described as high-tech protein supplements, and these are pretty damn cool. So this is kind of like the premium approach brought to protein powders and mass gainers. Premium pre-workouts, that's traditionally where we've seen that premium approach brought to. But yeah, Beyond Raw, the GNC brand, has brought that similar kind of style where you've, I guess, increased the price points to make way for more advanced premium ingredients. But they've done it to protein powder and mass protein with 2 supplements. There's a Dynamic Gainer and Dynamic Whey. And so if you're looking for a cost-effective protein powder or a cost-effective mass gainer, that's not entirely what these are. They are, again, very much to my point about Engage, and the opposite point to Rule 1's Raw pre-workout. These are sort of a step up if you want to spend more on your post-workout nutrition, or even just more on your mass gainer for daily nutrition. These things give you room to do so. So I'll start with Dynamic Whey, basically because that's a simple supplement. As I said, Beyond Raw refers to these things as high-tech supplements, and when you hear me out, you'll understand why. So firstly, Dynamic Whey uses ioWhey plasma. I'm trying to remember what the full plasma ingredient optimized is the ingredient. So basically, they run it through like a plasma machine that rearranges the protein on a molecular level to make it more absorbable by the body. And they did a study. It was like not a study, but like it was like an equivalency test or something. Maybe it was a study. I'm not entirely sure the wording, but they had this equivalency thing that they put out, and I thought this was the best way to communicate it. So what they did, the company behind ioWhey or Ingredient Optimized, was they basically they told you, I can't remember the exact numbers, so hear me out on this one. So it was like if you took 25 grams of ioWhey or protein from Ingredient Optimized Whey Isolate, to get these same benefits in terms of muscle protein synthesis and whatnot, you would need to have more regular whey isolate. I'm not saying that this is the exact numbers, but it was something like 30. So like there's a measurable equivalency, like to match the power of ioWhey, you needed to have this much. Or to, like if you wanted to match the power of 25 grams of standard whey isolate, you would only need to have 21 or 22 of ioWhey, if you catch my drift. So yeah, it basically makes it more bioavailable, more absorbable, in turn more effective at the same amount, basically. And so yeah, that's what Beyond Raw's put into ioWhey. It's a very, very impressive, very innovative ingredient or technology essentially, because the technology that they used with the whey isolate as it can be applied to other things. So Ingredient Optimized has relaunched several different ingredients over the years. They did an IOBCA, if I'm not mistaken, and they have equivalency studies. They have efficiency and effectiveness studies or research on that. And we did an interview with Chris Flynn a while back. So if you go through the podcast on Spotify and iTunes, you'll find it. And he goes over the whole thing very in-depthly. And it's pretty cool to listen to, and it's no surprise, or it's that these guys have put it to use Beyond Raw and Dynamic Whey and Dynamic Gainer. It's more surprising that more people haven't used it, but it's definitely picking up steam, and they've put it into, I think they've applied it to collagen. I'm trying to remember a few other ones, but yeah, pretty cool little thing, and that's what's in Dynamic Whey and Dynamic Gainer to provide the protein. But alongside that, in Dynamic Whey at least, they've also got the DE111 probiotic, premium probiotic, and PeptiStrong at 2.4 grams to support and improve muscle protein synthesis and muscle recovery and repair. So again, these little additions definitely make it a step up from your typical protein powder. The nutrition profile on this thing is 25 grams of protein per serving, but as I said, this is ioWhey powered protein, so this isn't, you're basically going to get more out of this than if you were to take 25 grams of protein from an additional source, because of that molecular rearrangement and the more absorbable result. And as for the other supplement, Dynamic Gainer, that does also use ioWhey to provide its protein powder, but it is a gainer in essence. So just to run it through, pretty sure we've got the full list right in front of me. Yeah, so the macros on this thing, so you've got it gets 50 grams of protein per serving, which is fairly typical for a mass gainer. That doesn't entirely come from ioWhey. So it actually comes from ioWhey, the ingredient optimized isolate, as well as milk isolate and micellar casein, and then alongside that, to really just make it that gainer-esque nutrition profile, you get 130 grams of carbohydrates, 5 grams of fat, and a calorie count of 810. But very much like Dynamic Whey, Beyond Raw has thrown in a bunch of other things to make this really pop and fitting for that high-tech gainer tagline. So in addition to that, you get 5 grams of Tendofork collagen, premium and branded collagen for joint comfort and health. Then there's 3 grams of MyHMB for muscle health and recovery, and I'm pretty sure there was one other thing in there, 5 grams of creatine to support muscle strength and power, and 2 grams of Velositol to double the power of your protein. So pretty much a lot of things in there to really get more out of your protein powder. In essence, be more effective, more results. Very innovative, very interesting to see, very cool to see that approach applied to traditional protein powder, traditional gainers. The ioWhey thing is pretty sweet in itself. To get a protein powder with that ingredient in there is pretty cool to see, and obviously innovative in itself. But then Beyond Raw has just elevated that status by putting in these other ingredients such as PeptiStrong, Velositol, and MyHMB, and so on and so on. But yeah, you will pay a pretty hefty price compared to your traditional protein powders and gainers. So the cost on a 25 serving tub of the Dynamic Whey is $69.99 before discount. Again, it's pretty high, but again, very much like the premium pre-workout alternative, this just gives you the ability to spend more if you so choose to get more out of your protein powder. If I were to use this, I'd probably just really push it for post-workout, because again, it's the anabolic window. That's where you want to pump out everything you can. And then similar price approach in Dynamic Gainer. The cost on that is $89.99, and that's for 15 servings. So yeah, premium price, but premium formula back it up, and it's very cool. Again, very cool, very interesting to see that approach of premium pre-workouts thrown into the protein powder category. And we have seen premium products over the years. There have definitely been more advanced protein powders. Glaxon did it in its protein powder, and we've seen some of those more intense, fully loaded gainers of the world. But it is very cool to just see it used as an alternative and offered as something, as a step up with protein powder and mass gainer from Beyond Raw. So yeah, check out the site, visit stag.com, stag3d.com obviously. Look it up, you get a closer look, better breakdown, full details, links to where you can buy them. And that goes for every single story we've talked about on this episode of the podcast. I believe we ran a little bit longer than usual, but that's because we had a shitload to talk about. Again, we'll be sharing the Stacked Expo exhibitors over the coming weeks as we build towards the July 17th live date of our L9 annual event. We thank you for listening. Make sure you visit the site every day, as I said, 1, 2, 3 to 50 times a day. And I appreciate any time anyone has to support us. But yes, thank you, and look forward to having you back next time.